What do you mean you're the captain now? We're not talking about the MCU. Oh, hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. On this channel, we talk about all things fandom, and we talk about them in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place. My co-host thinks we're talking about the MCU, but today we're going to be talking about the DCU and the timeline of the new DCU, complete with the Superman movie and how exactly everything fits together. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so we have to talk a little bit about the DCU. There's been some confusion over the timeline of the DCU. What comes first, what's canon, what's not canon, and this has been addressed a lot, and some of you already know how this is going to play out, and you know what I'm about ready to tell you. Others are kind of getting confused by the things being said on the internet, the things being said on YouTube by different people. And this is kind of what I'm doing here. I'm going to break down the exact timeline of the DCU and why it matters. And when I say why it matters, I'm actually referring to breaking down why these flashbacks exist in the DCU when we've been told that everything is going to be chronological. Why have flashbacks? Why have this? Why have that? First off, you have the people that said that James Gunn lied, that this is going to be all over the place, or that James Gunn said this, or James Gunn said that. James Gunn has actually been very open about how the DCU is going to be. And he has also told us the order of events in which the DCU will happen. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, Creature Commandos started off as an animated thing, and that's the beginning of the DCU. That's not exactly true. James Gunn told us on a post on Threads, in fact, a long time ago, that the Blue Beetle and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller are both canon to the DCU, that they will be returning in those roles. James Gunn also told us that we would be seeing Peacemaker, still played by John Cena. That entire cast of that series would return, and it would be in the DCU. Now, what does that mean? Because if these characters exist in the DCU from the DCEU, then obviously James Gunn somewhat lied, right? No, because if you've seen the end of Blue Beetle, you were given a way, maybe, that they could use to bring Blue Beetle into the DCU from the DCEU. But we're not going to go into that spoiler territory there. That's what that is. And we're not going to do that to anybody who hasn't watched the movie yet or will be watching the movie in the future just to catch up if they haven't seen it. But it's also not completely how they have to do it. There's plenty of ways that they can bring that character into the DCU. And then you have what's happening with Peacemaker, because Peacemaker Season 2 takes place after the events of Superman. And a lot of people called James Gunn a liar because why is there scenes with the Justice Gang in their outfits that we know they probably don't keep for that entire movie? And if they do, they're not working for Maxwell Lord at the end of the movie, because the whole idea is that Superman's supposed to show these heroes another way. The idea is that they exist to be in contrast to how Superman sees the world. What does this mean in terms of timeline? If these two already exist, well, we'll get into that, because officially the first thing you get in the DCU is Creature Commandos, but even that has flashbacks to World War II. Now, mind you, this is the World War II that exists in the DCU. So we may get that eventually happening. There was supposed to be the Sergeant Rock movie that has been put on hold. However, since we know that it plays a part in the Creature Commandos and the flashbacks, we know that there are going to be flashbacks just from that. Then after Creature Commandos, we are told that Superman is next. And if Superman is next, and Peacemaker is supposed to take place after that, then obviously there might be some flashbacks in Peacemaker that occur. In fact, I guarantee on Peacemaker he doesn't start off in the DCU. So the events that happen before he comes into the DCU will obviously be flashbacks to before the Superman movie was over. Then you have Lanterns, and Lanterns is next. Now, Lanterns may itself include flashbacks to previous eras, but those should be intact. Those should be all part of the DCU. And then after that, we have Supergirl. So that's the things that are coming out. That's the order that they're coming out in, and that's the order to watch them in. The timeline doesn't change much in terms of what to expect. And they keep it really simple that way. You can watch from beginning to end. And the way that they describe the DCU is something to get excited for as well, because you don't have to watch every single movie in order to enjoy what has already been presented to you. Because obviously they said every movie is going to be different. And if every movie is going to be drastically different from the other, then that presents a whole lot of opportunity for different filmmakers to come in and do things in the DCU to make the DCU very different from the MCU and the DCEU. So I hope that this has cleared a lot up, because it's really as simple as that. Watch in chronological order, know that there will be flashbacks, and you're going to be really satisfied with how the timeline goes. If you listen to the people who are telling you constantly that James Gunn lied because he said there wasn't going to be any holdovers from the DCEU, or there wasn't going to be any flashbacks, and that things were going to go completely chronological, that's not entirely true of anything. In every type of movie, you can always have a flashback. It doesn't have to be a flashback strictly in one timeline. There are movies that do this flawlessly, and they succeed. And you have to look at it and take it all in as it's presented to you. And that's the way you have to do it. Any other way, and you're going to be upset. I want to know what you guys are thinking about all this. Do you like the fact that you can watch everything in chronological order? Do you think that this is confusing, that some of these characters and some of the stuff exist within the DCEU and it's just being transferred over and needs a little bit of explanation as it does? Or do you think it's going to work flawlessly? Whatever you're thinking about the timeline of the new DCU and every movie that's coming out so far that has been announced, I definitely want to know what you guys are thinking. So whatever you're thinking, make sure to leave me that comment in the comment box below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. You know they're going to want to be a part of this crazy conversation we're having. And then make sure you're hitting that like button. It's free. It helps the channel. And we really do appreciate it. Then Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. Then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.